got his 7th front row start. Behind them, Felipe Massa and Nick Heidfeld, who's running light in the BMW. Robert Kubica, his teammate, is carrying a lot more fuel. He's a threat today. Webber, a great performance in 6th. It's Kovalainen again out-qualifying his teammate in 7th. Trulli is 8th. Ralf Schumacher's renaissance continues. He's 9th. Hamilton down in 10th after that accident. The 2 Williams make up row 6. Wirtz has his best qualifying since Monaco. Fisichella a bit off form in 13th. Barrichello 14th for Honda. Davidson and Sato, the 2 Super Aguris, ahead of Jenson Button's Honda in 17th. Scott Speed again out-qualifies his teammate Tonio Liuzzi. David Coulthard had a miserable time in qualifying. He's down in 20th. We've got 2 Germans in the Spykers. Markus Winkelhock makes his debut. And those are the cars in front of him. Ralf Schumacher, Jarno Trulli, Heikki Kovalainen, Mark Webber, Robert Kubica and Nick Heidfeld. 4th is his minimum target today. Does he need some help from one of the front 3 having some sort of problem if he's going to close on them? Certainly the first corner will be critical for Hamilton to try and make up as many places as possible. And the run down the inside is the one that David Coulthard has always favoured and has always made up a lot of places over the years. Just watching the grid go through there, the 2 Williams just outside the top 10 this weekend. Fisichella a little bit off colour. Well and truly out-qualified by teammate Heikki Kovalainen. Jenson Button did not have a happy qualifying session.
As the formation lap begins, I want to say a big thank you to everyone in the comment section who's been saying positive things about these videos, as it takes quite a while to make these videos. So I want to say a big thank you to all of the support I've been getting and all the people who have been watching these videos and enjoying them. Of course, I've been trying to do the 2007 British Grand Prix. That is going to have to come out in the next week or so because there's been a couple of issues I'm having with it, and a lot of them are related to the actual sound of the videos. It sounds pretty terrible. If I can't get fixed, I'll have to release it the way it is. But I just want to say this is my favourite race of the 2007 season as the rain begins to fall at the end of the formation lap. Here we go then. Here comes the 2007 European Grand Prix.
Lights going out, we're racing Raikkonen on the right, Alonso on the left. The European Grand Prix is go. Great getaway for Raikkonen. Alonso comes across to cover Massa. They're side by side. Kubica's already passed Heidfeld, his teammate, and it looks like Massa's looking strong as well. He's having to go around the outside of Raikkonen. Into turn 1, Raikkonen goes very deep. That allows Alonso through past Massa. So now Massa comes back at him again. He's in 2nd place, Alonso 3rd, and the 2 BMWs collide with each other. Hamilton went round the outside there, but Heidfeld spun Kubica, and is Hamilton involved in that as well? Seems to be struggling to get grip in his car. It's probably wet. The wet track, I think, that's probably...
It's wet there. I think Hamilton's got a left rear puncture. I think he did just tag the BMW. He had a brilliant start, absolutely working out beautifully, up to P4 from P10, and he's got a left rear puncture, I believe. He's got to be careful he doesn't get caught up. There's a Red Bull at the top of the screen going off. It's Coulthard. He's coming back on track through the service road. The track then quite clearly very slippery in places. Massa launched off the line and immediately past Alonso. Hamilton struggling then, he'll turn in and the car will feel horrible down there. What a dismal weekend Lewis Hamilton is having. This has really put him on his back foot, and more contact.
It was Rosberg and Barrichello, I believe. They were battling over 11th places. Is that Jenson Button up there as well? You can see how hard the rain is coming down now. All the field
spinning at the back, two spinning at the back there, up into turn 9. And carnage going on. One of them was the Williams of Rosberg. Will they decide to pit this lap? These grooved tyres do not work well in these conditions at all.
Raikkonen has missed the chicane. He's going to dive into the pit lane, is he? Surely, yes he is. So's Massa, so is Alonso.
Oh, he's gone off, Raikkonen's gone off.
Straight on, he's missed it. He's missed the pit lane. That could cost him victory here this afternoon, without a doubt. He's got to do another lap in these atrocious conditions on dry tyres and on such tiny moments to race his turn. Some people are going through and braving it for another lap. Lots of people into the pits. Massa, Alonso, Webber, Button, Kovalainen, Speed, Liuzzi, Ralf Schumacher, Davidson and surely Lewis Hamilton also pitting as well. Intermediate tyres going onto the Ferrari, and Raikkonen has stayed up. So has Wirtz and Trulli. Alonso is slow away. He's lost the place to Massa. Ted Kravitz.
The place to Massa, because that was in the pits. They came in, McLaren came in, Alonso got out behind Felipe Massa. Lewis Hamilton now also in. Everybody switching onto the intermediates. It's not yet wet enough for the full wet tyres. And Nick Heidfeld comes in very slowly with damage. Barrichello were past him, but Lewis Hamilton only just got out, and he's behind a load of cars. That has not worked out well for Lewis.
Well, he was a long way down the field. It was a left rear puncture, and that was beautiful for Massa in terms of he was going to have to queue at the Ferrari pit behind his teammate Raikkonen. Raikkonen missed the pit lane, having initially got in there, slipped back out again, and that allowed Massa an unhindered stop. And there is Raikkonen then tippy-toeing around on slicks. What is he doing down at the hairpin? Did he do another lap then? Well,
Yeah.
He must have gone off if that's only as far as he's got in that amount of time.
He must absolutely have done, and as you can see, the Spyker's driving away from him. That Spyker on the wet tyres, and off the track goes Giancarlo Fisichella. So very soon, Massa and Alonso will come up to catch Kimi Raikkonen. And, well, it's chaos in the early stage of this race. I wonder if that was Winkelhock. Yes, it is. And he's leading the race. He was the man who started from the pit lane. According to the computer, Marcus Winkelhock, well, I said it might turn out to be inspired, starting from the pit lane. And on his debut, the 27-year-old in a Spyker is going to come through, Izzy, and lead a lap. Absolutely extraordinary situation. Kimi Raikkonen, meanwhile, is really struggling. It's very, very treacherous out there. Not sure how long this rain shower is going to last. And there is the man who looked certain to win this race this afternoon. Fate has once again intervened in the life of Kimi Raikkonen. But boy, are we going to get a fight back from him. He's now, look, a lap down on his teammate Massa and on Alonso. Looks like one of the Hondas is very well up there.
Winkelhock does indeed lead as Raikkonen pits. Massa second, Alonso third. Winkelhock's 19 seconds ahead of them, and it is Button up into what is now P4. Jenson Button clearly took his intermediates early on. They're giving it a twisted front wing. You need a different aero balance. You need a little bit more front wing normally with the intermediate tyres to give you some turn in to the corners.
Okay, let's establish the order as we've lost. I think that's Button. Oh no, Jenson Button was running in fourth place. He has gone off on intermediate tyres. So clearly not even enough grip from those. Winkelhock leads, or does he? Spyker flies off the racetrack. Adrian Sutil. Is that Hamilton? It is Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton on lap 3 has gone off, along with the Honda of Button and also the looks like the Spyker of Sutil. Did he hit Sutil, I wonder?
No, they're aquaplaning now. There's so much water, the intermediates. Here comes another one, and this is going to get nasty. They're going to have to put the safety car out. What they're doing now is just aquaplaning off the racetrack. The intermediates will not clear sufficient amounts of water, and that is a Superguri that might just live for another day. And the rest of them are all deep in the gravel trap, and there'll be more in there yet unless they slow down. But it's crawling pace you need, otherwise you're in a canoe, you're not in a Formula One car.
Well,
Anthony Davison should be able to get reverse and get out of there. His car has been deployed. I would not be running out there if I were you, gentlemen. There will be other cars in if you're not careful.
6 cars then stranded down at turn 1. One of them is World Championship leader Lewis Hamilton. The safety car has been deployed by race director Charlie Whiting. Understandably. Oh, that's a big one. That's one of the Toro Rosso spinning around. It's Tonio Liuzzi who makes gentle contact with the tractor. And these are very dangerous moments for the marshals down there.
Crazy to let anything and anybody out there until they've neutralised the race, because everything's going to arrive backwards. You do not want to be going underneath one of those digger trucks. So that is the water then, and still then Winkelhock pits too.
Yeah, Winkelhock comes into the pits for some full wet tyres.
It is undrivable.
It's safety car now, safety car, Nick, safety car.
Okay, so Winkelhock's dived into the pits. He had a 19-second lead over Massa and Alonso.
This is Massa then heading off the road. Does he get away with that? And behind him there, but Button is the first one off then. Button is the first one into the barrier. He'll be followed by another 5 cars as they float. And this is Hamilton with his wheels locked up and just nerfs the barrier. He'll get away with that. Luckily, the Spyker missed him completely. And now are they red flagging it? They've red flagged the race.
Well, we're joined from the Spyker pit wall by Mike Gascoigne, the team's technical director. Mike, what an extraordinary start to the race. And Winkelhock, an inspired decision by you, I guess, to bring him in and start from the pit lane.
Yeah, James, we made the call. We saw the shower coming in. We'd had it predicted for sort of 10 minutes after the start, but it was a bit earlier. And obviously with Marcus starting from the back, it was a pretty low risk thing for us, so we went for it and it worked out perfectly.
So he's just come into the pits again, Mike, and presumably has gone to the full wet tyre.
Yeah, that's right. He's gone to the extreme wet, but we've just been red flagged.
And Winkelhock leads them through. Massa second, Alonso third, Webber, Coulthard, Kovalainen sixth, seventh Raikkonen. Not particularly close to the back of Kovalainen.
Look at Alonso.
Here comes Alonso, though, having a go as they come down towards Winkelhock, who doesn't really want to get involved in this. And Alonso follows. Here comes Coulthard up the inside of his teammate. Coulthard takes the place away. So he's got Winkelhock to get now. Massa rebuffs Alonso, but Alonso tries to go around the outside.
There's plenty of space there if it all goes wrong, and Coulthard up the inside, and Winkelhock then up into third place. Webber trying to go around the outside of the Spyker driver, and does, and gets up the inside of his teammate. He found some purchase out there, didn't he? Found plenty of grip. Massa leads then from Alonso, and Coulthard resumes third.
So Winkelhock going backwards because he's on the full wet tyre on a Spyker, and everyone else, including Raikkonen now, who's expected to win this race and seen his dreams shattered, goes around the outside of Winkelhock. He moves up a place. Where is Lewis Hamilton, you're asking? He's off the racetrack is the answer. He's had a spin down at the Dunlop curve.
Sort of 10th and 11th.
I'll tell you who's flying as Raikkonen goes up the inside. Webber on Coulthard, and behind them, Raikkonen on Kovalainen. Webber's through, and so is Raikkonen. So a double pass there. Another guy who's absolutely flying is Ralf Schumacher. He's on the same pace as the race leaders. The track is drying out quickly. That's a look at Hamilton when he went off the track, having just put the dry tyres on. That's down at the Dunlop curve. We saw that earlier on. Hamilton sets a purple first final sector, so the dry tyres are the ones to be on now. You will see people diving into the pits pretty soon. 7 seconds off the race lead.
This could bring Raikkonen fully into play here if he can get out on those dry tyres and light them up immediately. You've got to have the confidence to get into the braking zone and just get on it and keep. They're hot, they're fresh out of the blankets, they're 90 plus degrees, and by the time he gets down to turn one, they'll probably be around 70, 75.
In come Massa and Alonso. It's a straight pit stop race between the two mechanics. We have to watch carefully if they put fuel in as well. We can only really watch one at a time. Ted Kravitz.
Well, they are putting a little bit of fuel in Fernando Alonso, and a tiny little splash in the Ferrari as well, but they're also having to make, look at that on the front wing, they're having to make changes to the front wing because on the grid they were ranking on the, putting a load of front wing on the cars so that they stay on the ground, and now they're going to have to take that front wing off as the Toyota and Kubica's BMW comes in as well.
And Giancarlo Fisichella. Meanwhile at the front, Massa 2.1 seconds clear as off goes Marcus Winkelhock, having led on his debut, and a bit of flame coming out of the exhaust there. Well, he'll remember today for a while, won't he?
He will. I think most of all of the drivers out there will remember for one reason or another. Hamilton was 92 seconds behind then.
Board with Kovalainen, then he's going to make a move. Wirtz goes defensive. Kovalainen forces his way down the inside, under braking into turn one. Wirtz tries to go around the outside, but he didn't really resist all that strongly, and Kovalainen is through into 5th place.
28 seconds, but he's 3 seconds per lap quicker than you.
Yeah, that's delayed transmission as well. It's now 24 seconds, that gap. Oh, there's some more contact.
That's Ralf Schumacher, I believe.
That'll be the Toyota of Schumacher, and Heidfeld in the BMW into the final turn. Ralf Schumacher beached and out of the Grand Prix.
Shaking his head, one of the 4 German drivers in the field for this afternoon's race.
Sorry, but that's unbelievable.
It has been an extraordinary afternoon. It's 20 past 3 local time, so the race has been going for an hour and 20 minutes, and we've still got 30 laps to go.
Tell you who's doing a good job is Alex Wirtz in 5th place. We haven't mentioned him. He's still only 2.2 behind Mark Webber and lapping at the same speed, just 0.3 of a second slower than the majority of the leaders. So Wirtz still very much there for Williams. With the leaders in the 133s, and Massa's lead now 7.4 seconds over Alonso.
But he doesn't have to stop again. Hamilton does. Up the inside goes Hamilton. Fisichella doesn't feel like giving him any room. Hamilton keeps his foot in. We've seen this pass many, many times. The corners keep changing direction after the other, but not this time for Lewis Hamilton.
He'll lose some pace now down to the chicane. Now he's in the slipstream. He picked it up nicely. Surely he'll drill him up the inside now into he is absolutely fearless, isn't he? 2 wheels on the grass, and it was just a matter then of when and not if.
26 to go, Ted Kravitz.
Yeah, Lewis comes into the pits straight in front of me, just but next door in Ferrari. They've cleared a space in the garage for Kimi Raikkonen, so they clearly believe that that one is absolutely terminal, but Lewis keeping it well under control, and quite a long stop, so he can go right through to the end of the race, but a flawless stop there by the McLaren boys.
Nice work by them. Into a podium position then goes Australia's Mark Webber. He is 19 seconds.
There's Raikkonen, he has made it to the end of the pit lane, and can he just creep up that hill? But I doubt there's much they can do. These cars are so complex, and how tantalisingly close is that?
So, once again, Kimi Raikkonen looking set for victory at the Nürburgring. He had pole position, and it's been taken away from him. A crazy start to this race, which put him 7th, and now a technical problem means that his Nürburgring jinx continues. Michael Schumacher watches as Ferrari's reliability once again falls short of what it was when he drove for them, and it means that Hamilton doesn't have to worry too much about how many points Raikkonen's going to take out of him today.
Maybe even for several laps now, and such a slipstream there Lewis got. It's almost as if Jarno said, yeah, help yourself, mate, because I haven't got any speed today.
Mark Webber, who will of course have to stop again himself, I'm sure.
Yeah. And Mark Webber then, who's that going through? Presumably Hamilton to unlap himself, it is indeed. So the other McLaren's at the top of your picture. And I noticed that, crucially, Alonso got out in front of Mark Webber, so he doesn't have that problem to cope with. So it's a straight fight then between Massa and Alonso.
Closer, closer, closer he goes. Is he going to lunge? Yes, he is. Up the inside of Barrichello. Just 15 laps to go in this European Grand Prix. Felipe Massa is the race leader in the sole remaining Ferrari. There he is. He's almost 6 seconds clear of the McLaren of Fernando Alonso. Mark Webber's 3rd. A little sting in the tail. Rain in 7 minutes. And it takes a minute and a half to do a lap here. 12 to go. So if that forecast is right, it could be quite interesting and come just before the end of the race.
And that'll get them to the end of the Grand Prix.
So can Alonso close up in these difficult conditions? The track is very, very slippery. This is where sometimes you can see a driver really making a difference with that bit of extra feel he might have. Coulthard pits from 5th. Kubica pits from 7th. In comes Coulthard. I believe he's going to take on a new steering wheel as well. Or maybe not. Just new tyres.
I think he's been struggling getting out of the pits. They leave him up on the rear jack to get himself
here's the race leader.
A bit of a run at it, and he's got back safely to the pits. They've had enough grip to do that. And Alonso tucked up behind the Renault of Fisichella. Hamilton goes round again, staying on those slick tyres. I guess that's his gamble this time around. See if he can steal a point or two.
Possibly a reverse gamble also, because he'd have to queue up behind Alonso, who comes in now. It's a straight race. Is Massa going out in front of him? Yes, he is. And it looks like he's going to be behind the Renault. Oh, that's very, very close with the Honda mechanics there. That really was a bit too close, frankly. And those Honda guys, well, they're pretty brave. They didn't really flinch, but I didn't like the look of that one little bit. And it got him out in front of Fisichella, who, of course, is a lap down. But nevertheless, that was touch-and-go stuff. Is it still raining, or is it now stopped? No, it's still raining, OK. Look at that. Barrichello pits. Well, Hamilton's last lap, a 1:43.9 on dry tyres on a track that's getting wetter all the time. If it starts to dry out, arguably he might be doing the right thing if everybody has to come in again. But I think they'll all make intermediates last to the finish now. Currently in 8th place, though, Lewis Hamilton. Staying out has given him a chance of a point. If he can keep it on the island and not get overtaken by Kovalainen, 16 seconds behind him, then he might just score a point.
Alonso just 1 second behind Massa now on these this is for the lead, look. Incredibly, Alonso so much, far 2 odd seconds faster than Massa in these conditions. And Alonso looking like he's in a different formula almost. Such is the extra grip that he's got. And he'll come back up the inside there, but Massa's got good drive out of turn 4. Alonso all over the back of that Ferrari, and away he goes. It's going to be fascinating to see what's going on behind them, because some pitted and some did not in the squabble for the other podium position, as the Renault just simply gets out of the way of Kovalainen. and down the hill they go then, the two leaders.
It seems to be wet in one part of the racetrack and not so wet in others. Alonso. For Hamilton in the World Championship. Hamilton's still in 8th place, on for 1 point. Not this time for Alonso, but if he can get good drive through the final corner and he's up alongside, he might be able to take Massa into turn 1. The crowd are loving this one. Alonso is risking everything. He really wants this. He wants the victory. Here we go. Tucked up he is. Massa looks in his mirrors. Where is he? Is he on my left? Is he on my right? Alonso goes for it. Side by side for victory here at the European Grand Prix. Under braking. Massa's on the inside, Alonso holds alongside, don't touch, they don't touch, and Massa holds on to it.
Hamilton has to pit, it's raining too much, that crucial World Championship point will have gone. But this is all about the World Championship too. Alonso so much more confident on the brakes, but the Ferrari seems better in the medium and high-speed corners in the traction zones. So that's why they're ebbing and flowing through the track. But Alonso overall has the much faster car. It's just that Massa is continually placing.
They touch wheels!
Incredible! He's got away with it. He takes the lead. Alonso in the lead with his two pursuers, Wirtz and Coulthard, in the 1:47s. Wirtz fancies a podium in these remaining 3 laps, and Webber's got his hands full. A lot to do though for Alex Wirtz in that time. Coulthard closing on the pair of them and pulling away from the 2 BMWs that are 6th and 7th.
Of Lewis Hamilton fully on display here, as is the same for his teammate Fernando Alonso. We've seen that already. Come on, Lewis, see if you can make up 2 places.
He's got 1 lap then for 2 places to pass the Works Renault, and that's already costly that he hasn't been able to nail the first of the Renaults. He'll have to go wide, tuck up the inside into turn 3. He'll have a chance under braking into turn 3, but Kovalainen's found some, Fisichella has found some grip from somewhere. Meanwhile, Kovalainen getting away in front of them. Tantalisingly, there is a World Championship point just up the road.
Well, Fisichella knows that Kovalainen's got that point. He might play a little role in holding up Hamilton if he can. No, not for long. Hamilton's through. Now he's only got a few corners to go down the hill towards Dunlop. And from a championship point of view, an absolutely critical one. Fernando Alonso wins the European Grand Prix. What an extraordinary race. What an extraordinary drive. Massa comes through in 2nd place, and Webber, I believe, is going to come through in 3rd. And there you can see the Renaults behind them, and it looks as though Kovalainen has held on in front of Hamilton. So after all that effort, Lewis Hamilton will get nothing, I think.